Welcome to our Two Posh podcast. This is episode 201.
Woohoo!
I am here with my co-host Marcella.
Hello.
And Gino.
Let's get it.
And Spider.
Hello.
And my name is Gabrielle. I should have said that. I forget that sometimes. Once again, at the beginning of these episodes, we want you to share, follow, like all our... Subscribe on all our different platforms and our YouTube channel. And we would really appreciate it. That will help us very much. And why wouldn't you want to know when new shows come out? This is episode 201 and the continuation of my Mafia story. I actually started writing a book one time. I need to go find it because there's stuff in there I think I need to read one day too. But let's go back to where I ended at episode 200. And that is when I actually met Peter Raneri, who was in the bar talking to my girlfriend. And he was talking to me a little bit, but he actually asked her for her phone number. And we weren't there very long. And we went, my Saudi Arabian boyfriend came in and we walked and had dinner with him. And that was really all I saw of Peter that night. Well, the next day I went to work in my amazing insurance company in Vienna. And very soon into the day, there was all this chatter going on. And everyone was like, oh my God, have you seen them? And I was like, what? Well, the biggest flower arrangement that anyone had ever seen was being sent to my job. And this was such a big insurance company. There were so many floors. Somebody said I had to come to the... But in the meantime, everyone already was talking because it was such a big deal. And I went and I was like, whoa, who is that from? So what Peter did was he got the phone number of the girlfriend to find out where I worked and to get my phone number from her. He didn't want to ask me directly.
Wait, why?
I don't know why. He just,
that
maybe it was a surprise thing. I have no idea. That's how he did it. And
taking notes.
I just know that everyone was like going, who is this person that sends these flowers? Well, what was funny, he called me that night and he said that he had to leave town suddenly, but he would be back soon. And I told him, thank you, that the flowers were really great, but I didn't really know this person, but somehow I was intrigued. I'm not going to lie. I remember thinking that. I was like, why am I even intrigued with this person? But
did you think Dad was cute?
I thought he was interesting.
Oh.
So I was intrigued. Like, that's the best way to describe it. And
persistence is intriguing, though. Like, you don't even have to be the best looking, I guess.
Right. And I think when he started calling me, like, he had such an amazing sense of humor and he was such a... Also, when this is something I learned, and I spoke very little English back then. I could speak English, I could understand it, but I wasn't fluent in it. And when you speak to someone in a different language, you cannot detect lies. That's a huge thing. So your dad could tell me anything because I believed all of it. And I didn't really understand what he was doing. I mean, remember, I'm from a tiny little town in Austria, and here's this guy and he's telling me all these crazy stories. But I remember the first night, like, we talked for a very long time. I do know that. And I went back to work. Now, also, my talk with my Saudi Arabian boyfriend actually had gone well. So he and I were kind of trying to figure out our relationship. And in the meantime, I go to work the next day. Guess what? Another flower arrangement.
Nice.
But I can't describe, like, they were not normal. They were the biggest flower arrangements you have ever seen. So now, of course, the entire company is talking. And my coworkers, they started going, okay, we don't trust this situation. That's not normal. Where's this guy? He's from America. Like, this is really scary. He's trying to steal you. He's trying to abduct you. They became like super, super protective over me. Well, I would go home.
Think people, abductors, send flowers like that. They just kind of take you.
Well, they were really freaked out about it all. And this went on for over a week, like flower every day. And then one day I got flowers at work and I came home. There was yet another flower arrangement at home.
Dang.
So, yeah, Gina.
Did you ever respond to any of these things?
Yeah, I would talk to him every day.
Oh.
Like we would talk. He called me every single day. And there was no texting back then.
Yeah,
So I had to be on a phone.
So he called you.
He would always call me.
Well, duh. She doesn't call me.
Well, I didn't know if she was like, thank you for the flowers. Let me give you a call.
No, I waited for him to call me. Then I said thank you. So now after about a week, the conversations became like my best friend Larry, who actually turned out to be Larry Iorizzo, who was then Larry Harrison because he was in witness protection program. I had no idea. It just told me about his best friend Larry, whose daughter Carol was going to get married in Vienna, and that they had chartered a 747 plane to fly everyone over there, the whole wedding party. And I remember thinking, who are these people? They can charter a 747? Like, that's
So
not
cool.
normal. And I was like, who are these people? This is crazy. Little did I know that this was Mafia. I had no idea. But then he started saying, oh, and by the way, now we have not gone on a date. Like, I have all these flowers and all these phone calls. And he starts going, oh, by the way, and after their wedding, you and I are going to get married. I was like,
Nice.
I don't even know you. And he's like, oh, no, that's okay, but we're going to get married. It's like, once again, I thought it was crazy, but I was intrigued. I'm not going to lie. So, by the way, this was in September of 1984. And there was lots of phone talks. It was a whirlwind. He flew in town one night, took me shopping. Like, it was a shopping spree, whatever. He decided all these things I needed and went to the best 5-star restaurant in a limo, of course.
I'm going to need Mafia money to play this game.
Yeah, no kidding.
I always compare it to the movie Pretty Woman, except I was not an escort. But that is
Thank God.
exactly what it was like. When you think about that, that is what it was like. It was so crazy. And I don't know, I was young and I was used to being showered with gifts and treated this way from the oil sheikh.
The
But
prince.
this was different. Like, this was a whole different level because he was really nice. So, the Saudi Arabian boyfriend was such an asshole and so controlling and just terrible. Like, if people looked at me, he got mad at me. It's not my fault. And so I broke up with the Saudi Arabian guy, which turned really scary really fast because, of course, he had gotten me this ritzy apartment. I had 2 Persian cats. Everything I had, he had kind of given me. And
Baby and Tez.
when I broke up with him, he got psycho. He was like saying all these crazy things. And I kind of got scared. I'm not going to lie. So
The oil sheiks versus the mob.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So okay. Oh, I know what it was. He threatened to kill my cats. I remember that was freaking me out because I was like, that's not going to happen. And Peter had not been here and I was on the phone with him. And I don't know, we got really close talking on the phone for hours and hours and hours every single day. And I told him that I had broken up with my boyfriend and that I was kind of scared. So he goes, I don't want you to worry. I'm going to have this all figured out. So they, Larry, Peter, their whole Mafia clan in Austria stayed at this place called El Dorado, which I could maybe compare it to the Gaylord in Dallas, like if you could compare anything to it. But they had bungalows, separate bungalows that were like an apartment with your private pool, but then you looked over like this big area with was a huge like pool that people would go to that to buy tickets. But he arranged that the concierge of that hotel came to my apartment, packed it all up with my 2 cats, got me one of those villas in that huge hotel. I was like, all right, I mean, this is like so insane. So sending me gifts, flowers, nonstop. Started saying, go get your family to come up. They all can stay in the villa, blah, blah, blah.
Dang.
Avi, Ricky, my mom, everyone would come there and hang out with me. And he would fly in periodically. And when he would, we would go out in the 5-star restaurants in the hotel. We'd go to the club. It was Dom Perignon as much as we wanted. Money didn't matter. It was such a life. I just couldn't understand it and still didn't know who they were. I didn't know for a very long time.
You never say, what is your job?
Yes. Import export. That's what he would say. Always import export. And
how does one get into import export?
Well, this was not really import export.
I know. I'm just asking for a friend.
Oh my God. Like the legal one or the mafia one?
The import export seller.
So then I remember he would come in and now it was like blue for long, like back then you could still wear fur coats. It was like blue fox fur coats, jewelry. We would go to shows, everything you were in the front, front row, everything. It was just, everything was first class. And he would talk a lot about Larry and Michael Franzese and Sonny Franzese, which are all Colombo crime members. Now, I want you to know he never used their last names. It was Larry, Michael, and Sonny. I would always hear about them. And also, he proposed to me a month later. So this is a whirlwind crazy.
Did you say yes?
Of course I said yes.
Well, I didn't know. She said no, and then he kept going.
Oh.
No, I said yes because I was like, my gosh, this is crazy. He invited my mom all the time, my family. My mom thought this was a little crazy, but my friends, everyone loved this whole situation. Buddy Lombardo, his girlfriend Kathy came to Vienna. We stayed at all, Hilton. It didn't matter. This Buddy Lombardo, though, I didn't know. Don't yawn. This is not boring.
Oh my God.
I've been up since 5. I'm sorry.
Buddy Lombardo also had a wife, but I didn't know that. That was his girlfriend on top of his wife. So this is October 1984. So one day Peter comes back in town and he came to the suite and I'll never forget it. I opened the door and he looked completely different. He looked panicked. He had black pinstripe suit. I remember it. Of course, his sunglasses, all his jewelry. We haven't talked about that. He had the biggest darn gold diamond rings all the time. Huge chain necklaces, earring, like diamonds.
And dark
humongous,
sunglasses.
Dark sunglasses.
And long black curly hair.
It wasn't that long back then.
Oh.
You have any of that stuff?
No.
Okay.
He looked panicked. And he said something really bad happened. And I said, what happened? And he said, Larry's daughter's wedding is called off. He had to go to Panama, not Panama City, Panama, the country. But for me not to worry. And I thought, but what do you mean? Just don't worry. It was always don't worry. And I didn't really understand at the time of this what happened back then. I didn't know. Later, I researched it all and I found out about what happened in Panama. I will tell you guys what happened in Panama in a minute. But he didn't tell me the truth, but he was always calling Sonny in a panic. Sonny, Michael. I have to call Sonny. I have to call Michael. He put Sonny on the phone with me. We will talk more about Sonny Franzese and Michael Franzese later. I promise you guys. We'll get into all their story later, but I'm going to tell you guys what was going on while I had absolutely no idea that this was happening. I'm going to read this from an article so you can get the real thing. Larry Iorizzo stood more than 6 feet tall and weighed close to 500 pounds. That is a fact. Now, at this time, I never met Larry yet. Always talked about Larry. Sometimes he said Fat Larry. Really mean, but he used to say that.
Yeah, but I think he'd say it to his face.
He always said it to his face. And that,
Of course.
later, when I found out the whole story, Peter used to own these really amazing restaurants in Long Island, Smithtown, Long Island, in New York, actually. And he had his first restaurant with his first wife, Margie, and that restaurant became very successful. But the Mafia guys started coming there, and they told him, "You're so talented, we need to build a big one." And so he never told me this, but I'm sure it was the Mafia got together and built this amazing, humongous place. And the Jackson 5 performed there. Michael Jackson would eat there. All those old bands performed in that restaurant, and it was the place to be. And he would always stay open so that all the Mafia guys could have their meetings in the restaurant.
Cool.
And he would always talk about how much Larry ate. Well, Larry is the one that told Peter, I mean, you're killing yourself in this kitchen. Why don't you come and work with us? And I think Larry loved Peter so much because it's very uncomfortable when, 500 pounds. At one time, he actually weighed 650. And I think he was embarrassed about it and loved Peter's way of making it funny. Peter would make jokes about it, so it was just out in the open. And going on a plane, he would talk about because Larry needed an extra extension belt on the airplane.
Extra as in 2 extension belts? Or
No, I think it was 1.
Okay.
But your dad would literally walk on the plane and start yelling, "Everybody, stop. Fat Larry's coming on." He would just make it funny, and everyone would look at them, start laughing. It wasn't a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
And then he would go, don't worry about it. He needs a second belt. He would just say it. "Oh, hold on. He has to go to the bathroom. We have to make sure he doesn't get stuck in the plane bathroom." He would say these things. It was crazy.
Yeah, because he would roast people all the time, but it was funny because my dad was very funny and outgoing.
Right. And so I think that's what, Larry, I never forget how much he laughed. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead because at this point I hadn't met Larry yet, but just as an explanation, he's a humongous man. Crazy, but still handsome. That's always the thing that stood out the most because someone so heavy, he always kept his handsome face. It was said he could consume 9 pizzas at a meal. He was also a bigamist with 2 Long Island homes, 1 for each wife. Michael Franzese said, "I'd take my hat off to him. Huge as he was, he moved around." Iorizzo played fast and loose with the Internal Revenue Service as well. Gasoline wholesalers are supposed to pay state and federal excise taxes, but Iorizzo set up a daisy chain of dummy companies to pass along the tax bill until it ended up a burnout company, one that went bust right before IRS agents showed up at the door. After each bankruptcy, a new daisy chain was formed. To further confound the tax man, some of the dummy companies were incorporated in Panama and in Austria, where Iorizzo boasted a residence, a phony passport, and he claimed a friendly rapport with President Manuel Noriega. So now you know the connection with Austria. So that's how they hung out in Austria, and that's why I met him. Because Gallion paid no taxes, it was able to undersell the competition. Soon, even name-brand filling stations like Texaco and Chevron and Shell were welcoming those tankers after dark. Iorizzo claims that Franzese drew as much as $100 million from the operation. Franzese supplied men to run the gas stations and fend off competition. All the muscle we needed, Iorizzo says over the phone. Iorizzo and Franzese have been none too friendly since the former joined the witness program in 1984 and set in motion the events leading to Franzese's downfall. We will get to all that. This is just a point of why it's important to what happened in Panama. So they owned yachts, jet planes. They were just wealthy beyond wealthy. I think they cleared $2 million every single week. It was insane. Franzese's whirlwind of activities had not gone unnoticed by law enforcement, but the boom landed first on Iorizzo, who in 1984, remember this is important, I met your dad in September in 1984, and this all started, I met him literally right before it all unraveled. Like all their years of living that crazy life started unraveling. He was convicted of mail and wire fraud and interstate transportation of stolen property. As Iorizzo awaited sentencing, Franzese grew nervous. I was coming to grips with the fact that, look, the guy's 500 pounds, he just couldn't do jail time. Plus, he was weak. So Franzese says he encouraged Iorizzo to fly to Panama with his phony passport. Nothing more. But as Iorizzo tells the story, the mobster was a bit more heavy-handed. They took my son to Franzese's office, and Franzese told my son, if your father don't do the right thing, we're going to kill you. That's Larry Jr. Iorizzo did travel to Panama City on his private jet, but his stay was cut short when two unidentified locals kidnapped him at gunpoint and put him on a plane to Miami. He arrived into the welcoming arms of FBI agent Dan. Iorizzo claims he has no idea who kidnapped him or why. Things happen strange in Panama. That is when your dad came to me and looked stressed, because I think he knew that this was the beginning of the end. And it was, I just remember so much stress, but I didn't know. He would just say Panama and something happened and the wedding is off. But that is all I knew at the time. And I found something else where it said, the task force has learned that dummy corporations were also formed in Panama and Austria to aid in secreting and laundering funds derived from the scheme. And through the efforts of the task force, 11 million in criminal proceeds was located in Austria. So at that time, everything became chaotic. Call Sonny, call Michael, call Sonny, call Michael. And then that is where he said, I have to go to America for a couple months. And can you come to America? We lived in a house actually in Austria for a while. It was really cool. And I thought to myself, well, can I go? I mean, anyone can go anywhere for 2 months. I mean, what's the big deal? And so I said, yeah, I'll go, but I had no idea. And that is to be continued, how I made my way to the United States and what happened after that. So
I need to know.
On that note,
No.
we're calling Miss Polly.
No.
It's time to party with Miss Polly. The modern day Doctor.
There we go. A party with Miss Polly. Hello, Miss Polly.
Hello.
What is the term Superman mean? It
Okay,
Superman?
you caught me off guard because I have no idea what Superman means.
I wrote it down because I read it and I was like, what the heck?
Can I Google it real quick?
Came on your
so
back and
country.
rubbed it in.
So country.
What?
Oh, you missed it. I said it. What did it?
Oh.
Polly, I 1,000,000% thought you would know what that is. I was like,
What is
I
it?
can't believe I found a question that has you shocked.
They came on your back and rubbed it in.
What?
When
I
a guy
see it
comes
in
on your
face.
back and rubs it in.
Oh, okay. Good.
Her face, she cannot believe it.
I've never heard of that either. And why is it called Superman?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I know
That
an
was
Eiffel
new.
Tower.
You shocked me because I've never heard of it.
Okay,
Ew.
I have
Like,
something.
really?
What? The
Okay,
pause it?
Come on.
Yeah, pause it for a second.
Hold on.
Because I went to Urban Dictionary to find out.
I was hoping
This is a
somebody
better description.
would. Okay,
All right.
please tell me.
Right. So, Superman, when you're mad at your girl for not having sex with you, so when she falls asleep, you masturbate and come on her back. After that, you stick the bed sheet onto her back, so when she wakes up, she's stuck there and she has a
God.
cape.
That makes more sense.
Right.
I was like, what does rubbing it in have to do with the Superman?
Yeah.
Thank you, Spider, for clarifying.
Thank you, Spider.
I was like, I
concerned.
knew an Eiffel Tower
Oh God.
was when like two guys high five, so you make the tower.
What?
What?
One on each.
Yeah,
end.
so it's two guys and a girl. So she's giving a blowjob, and the other guy is having sex with her. And then the two guys are facing each other, so then they high five at
That's
the top,
The Eiffel
and it
Tower.
makes the high Eiffel
What?
Tower. But I couldn't understand Superman.
Couldn't either.
But now
that
the
makes
blanket is the sheet is the cape. I get it.
Well, I think we might hire Spider as our sex therapist.
Oh my
gosh,
God.
that is so freaking funny.
Urban Dictionary with Spider. New segment.
Urban Dictionary is great.
I used to want to do a segment on Michael's show where I read the comments on Pornhub, but after like 5 minutes of doing that, I was like, I can't do this.
No way.
my
I never even
God.
thought about
It was
that.
filthy.
Oh, I bet. I don't even think I want to know, actually.
That is a good idea, though. I mean, really.
I thought it was until I tried it.
Like, never mind.
That's funny. All right.
Question of the day.
Yes.
The two posh girls
Question of the
ask
day.
the question of the day.
If you're
Sorry.
Almost lined up perfect.
question
I know.
of today, Miss Polly.
Yes.
If your ex's mom unfollows you on social media, would you unfollow them back?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't care. They're ex for a
Fair
reason.
enough.
But at the same time, I mean, I guess because I'm still friends with some of my ex's family, but I did unfollow them so that I don't see their stuff all the time. I unfollowed him too. We're still on our friends, but we're not like friends. I don't see stuff that they post all the time because, yeah, I don't really care. I care, but I don't. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's,
Right.
I think if everything was fine, hopefully, like, you can still be friends. But, I mean, I guess if they unfollow me, I'd be like, I don't know what I did, but I guess I'll unfollow you too. If I notice, typically I don't even notice who's unfollowing or following.
I unfollowed every facet of Whitley's family.
Well, yes.
I actually do too.
And I don't check in. I don't follow up. I think I've done that.
That's the smartest thing to do.
If she were to reach out, would you answer?
That's a hard question. I don't like reach out how?
Like, hey, I just wanted to say hi. Hope you're doing well.
Something like that. No, I wouldn't respond.
What
to
if she said, hey, I'm really sorry. Want to talk to you. And
I've thought about that, and I don't mean it to sound like cold, but my knee-jerk reaction would be like, no, thank you. Just
That's
something
fair.
like that, and then not. But I don't have her number even saved, so I don't even know if I'd recognize her number. I'd have
That's
to. The
fair.
first thing I'd have to say would be, I'm
Who is
sorry,
this?
whose number? I don't have your number saved. Who is this?
well, that's always a good response, even if you have the number. I've done that before.
A spider.
I completely got off of social media during COVID.
That's a great
So,
idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have a chance to unfollow anyone, and I hope they're all unfollowing me.
I've thought about taking a social media break.
I did
You
that
should.
quite a bit, and it helped. And then I got completely off of it, and it helped even more.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's very interesting. It's amazing.
Well, on that note, thank you for listening, everyone. Please follow us.
We're
subscribe,
back from
share.
COVID.
We are back. Yay.
Subscribe.
Thank you.